What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Me TV Reviews. I am your host, Mo, and today, you guys, we're going to be discussing The Penguin. That's right, y'all. This is season 1, episode 4, titled Chintani. I hope you guys have had a wonderful week thus far. Y'all, we made it to Friday. It's here, big dog. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. However you guys decide to celebrate, please stay safe out there. Be careful, all right? The world is crazy. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the synopsis real quick, and then we're going to get right into the episode. So the synopsis for this one is: confronting the events that turned her into the hangman and led to a decade-long fight to survive in Arkham State Hospital, Sofia makes plans for a more hopeful future. This episode was good, y'all. I needed the origin story, okay? I still kind of want a little bit more of what happened to Sofia. I would like to explore a little bit more of what happened to her while she was in the hospital, but we'll get there, all right? So we begin the episode with where the last one ended, and that's with Oz being confronted by Nadia after his two-timing behavior and how it will no longer be tolerated. She has seized Sofia's labs where the new drug is being produced, and she reveals to Sofia that Oz was the one who took her brother out. In disbelief, that she allowed herself to believe that he wasn't a part of her brother's untimely demise, all she can do is look at him with hurt and hate in her eyes. How dare you? You lied to me. Vic comes smashing through one of her goonies, of course splitting him in half, and Nadia is able to flee. Now, Sofia ends up falling, and I think she hit her head or something like that, while Oz and Nadia get into their respective cars, and they flee the scene. Okay? Now, Sofia calls Julian to try to get some help, but she passes out after she reveals to him that it was Oz who did it. Now, we get a flashback to when she was giving a speech at a luncheon for the foundation that her and her father had founded in honor of her mother, Lucy's house. She tells them that this foundation was set up to help young women who may be struggling with depression or some type of mental illness, etc. And she tells the story of when she found her mom. Trigger, y'all. Sorry. Close your ears for 5 seconds. She tells the story of when she found her mom hanging at the very tender age of 9 years old. Wow. She does a great job, y'all. She does a great job at the luncheon, and post-speech, she's waiting on Oz to come around with the car when another woman catches her and mentions a young woman by the name of Yolanda who worked for the Iceberg Lounge that was found hanging just last week. And as a matter of fact, there have been several women who have suffered the same fate that just so happened to work for her father's establishments. And as Oz is rolling up, we find out that the lady is actually part of the press. Now, her name is Summer. I can't remember her last name, y'all, but first name is Summer. All right, so we then get another flashback of her the day that she discovered her mother's body while she was playing hide and seek with her brother Alberto. It was sad, y'all. So I'm not going to go into details, okay? Just know that she found her. We then fast forward to the present, which is still in the past, where they're having family dinner. And her father is complimenting her for representing the family so well at the luncheon. He also mentions a connection that he was able to tap into thanks to her work that she's been doing with some of the families that are associated with the foundation. Then he looks to her brother because he was supposed to be looking into that same family's, financials. But of course, he's slacking. He forever slacking. Always doing BS stuff that he ain't supposed to be doing that ain't related to the family business. Y'all, he ain't even started looking into these people's financials. But he promises to look into it tomorrow as he takes off for the night to live it up. Now, after he leaves, her dad tells her that he would love for her to take over the family after he is gone because her brother's a screw up. Okay, he's distracted and he's soft. He's not like them. It's not too many cut out like Sofia. So she happily accepts the offer, but she knows that will come with the backlash from the rest of the men in the family, especially the older ones. But he reassures her that they'll fall in line because they know that she's his, right? She then brings up that her mom has been really heavy on her brain as of late. And I think she tries to see if her dad knows more than what he told her and her brother about their mom's passing, But he ends up avoiding the topic by saying that this upsets him, and so she tries to hurry up and switch the subjects. But I do think that she believes he might have had something to do with her death. At this point, she's just thinking it. All right, we getting there. So flashback to when her and Alberto had a conversation, and she was asking him to what extent, if any, were Dad's relationships with the women that worked for him. Like, did he have any relationships with any of them? You know, did he have a girlfriend? What was going on? Because I feel like you are around him more. You see a lot of those things. He wouldn't be able to communicate those types of dealings with me because I'm his daughter. You know, and I may feel a different way versus you being his son and being a man. And so Alberto denies him having anything serious with any of them. If anything, they seem to be more like ladies of the night for him. But he says, don't worry about it. You know, we got a good life, right? So why you asking all these questions? Just live. Be happy with all the riches that we have. So next thing you know, instead of her going home, she ends up going to go meet with a reporter who shows her pics from the crime scenes, like autopsy photos, autopsy reports. And she ends up telling her that although it was reported that all the women had died from hanging, what was conveniently left out of each and every report was the fact that all of them had defensive wounds, bloody fingernails, and strangulation marks around their necks, which would indicate that somebody killed them up close and personal before staging their bodies in the manner that they were found. So she has a flashback of the night that she found her mom, and we then see the bloody fingernails on her mom. And then her dad comes in and finds her, and he hurriedly scoops Sofia up. But when she tries to pull his glasses down, we see that he's got scratch marks on his hands. So she comes back to the present and tells the reporter that this is baseless information, and if she doesn't want her career to end prematurely, she won't attempt to report these findings. Now, side note, what I will say is, after I saw that scene where he came in and found her, because I was already suspicious from jump, the idea that he would put it to where Sofia came in and found her mom just so it would look like somebody else found her. Do y'all see do you understand what I'm saying, y'all? How sick can you be to have your child come in and see their parent in that manner? Just so you can say, oh, well, I wasn't the one that found her. Anyway, y'all. So, once she ends up getting in the car, Oz is trying to tell her about staying away from reporters. Now, Alberto and everybody else has been disrespectful towards Oz, but Sofia has always been the one who had his back, showed him a little kindness. But as he's telling her this, she's like, hey, just do your job. Shut up and drive. Just be my driver for tonight. And so he shut up and he drive. Now, she arrives to the party, and she runs into her cousin Carla, where they gossip about their Uncle Luca. We're still in the past, y'all. They gossip about their Uncle Luca and his future third wife when she gets called in to see her father. It's his birthday party. He's pissed at her because he found out that she went to go see a reporter behind his back, and she automatically assumes that Oz was the one who ratted her out. But he got eyes everywhere. Anywho, he's disappointed in her that she could betray him in such a manner, but more importantly, he wants to know if she believes that he could do something like that. Do you believe that I would do something like that? The manipulation. You all she got left. Why would she believe that? And so, of course, she tells him no, because she doesn't want to start an argument, right? That's why she told the reporter to scram. But her eyes tell a whole nother story, especially when she starts to bring up what she noticed from her mom's death. But you couldn't have done that, right? You couldn't have done that, Dad, right? Instead of him answering her question, he tells her to go home now. But on the way, y'all, when her and Oz are in the car, and she is pissed off at him, she's upset with him because she feels like he was the one that told her dad what was happening. So he was like, man, I was just doing my job. And I was like, did you really sell her out? Did you really sell her out? And so she was like, you could have came to me and talked to me about it before you said anything to him. Now, as they're having this conversation, they ended up getting pulled over by the police. It's Kenzie. Now, Kenzie, I believe, is the chief of the police department. And y'all, Kenzie is in her dad's back pocket. Okay? So he comes over and he talks to Oz and he says that he wants Sofia to step out the car. So when they then proceed to arrest her for the murder of the reporter, are you kidding me? I just talked to her. Now I'm being arrested for her murder. She's being arrested for her murder, Yolanda's murder, and all the other women that her dad was being looked at as the prime suspect for. Wow. That's crazy that he would sell his own daughter out like that just to keep himself from going to jail. And honestly, if he died right when she was getting out, when she got released from the hospital, it wouldn't surprise me if she was the one behind his death. I'm just saying, maybe we'll get that, maybe we won't. But if that was the twist, y'all, I can't say that I would blame her. Because the stuff that follows her getting arrested, she deserves her villain story. That's all I'm going to say. So now I see why she pissed at Oz right after all of these years. He shouldn't have said anything to her dad. He should have just talked to her. So at the precinct, they've already come up with a name for her in the press, the Hangman. And as she talks to her lawyer, it's clear that she's going to go down for the sins of her father. And her lawyer gives her the unfortunate news that not only has her father called for her to receive a psych eval, but majority of the older men in her family have also jumped on the bandwagon that Sofia has been mentally unstable since her mother's death, saying how she would play with like dead animals and stuff like that. Just all the weird things that kind of like are the red flags for, hey, that may be a potential future serial killer. All of those things, right? But the hits just keep coming, y'all. Just keep coming and coming and coming. Because she also tells her that after the psych eval, the judge is remanding her to Arkham Hospital until her trial, which is set for not next week, not 2 months from now, 6 months from now. Y'all, she is about to have a whole breakdown, and I don't blame her. You go from living life being completely innocent to being locked up in prison with for real deal criminals. With the people that I saw on the news last week. Oh, okay. You want me to do that? Oh, okay. Y'all, if I can help it, y'all, I'm never going to jail. Okay? You won't catch me out here doing nothing. So, she tries to explain what their dad is doing to Alberto, right? But he refuses to believe that his dad would be so conniving to do something like this to blame her for. Well, believe it, because he did that to those women, that reporter, and he even did it to our own mama. He did it to our mama, Alberto. So, time's up, okay? The doctors come in, and we see that Julian is the second doctor in charge, but that main one, I think his name is Ventress or something like that. Y'all, he must be working for her daddy because he does some truly evil shit to her. Upsetting. I was just so upset. They take her back to process her and the violations that she had to endure. And I know this happens in real life, so that's so upsetting. It was despicable how they treated her. Her cellie, once she goes to her cell, I'm not going to tell y'all everything they did to that lady, but they violated the crap out of her. Just like deer in headlights, completely shell-shocked. Like, I knew it was going to be bad, but I didn't know it was going to be that bad. So when she finally gets to her cell, not her cellie because they don't share a cell, but the person next to her. Oh, and y'all, they also told her that she can't have any visitors until the trial, nor is she going to be able to be in gym pop. She's going to be in solitary confinement, which that may be better for her at this point. But the fact that you can't have no visitors for 6 months and you're supposed to be in solitary confinement, They are wanting her to just have a breakdown. So now, next door, Sally, her name is Magpie, and I believe she's there because she ended up knocking off one of her family members. I think it was her mom or her stepmom, somebody like that. And so at Chow, when Sofia comes in, all eyes are on her like she Tupac or something. Now, fortunately, Magpie has saved her a seat, and as she gets her candy, which is probably that bliss drug that Sofia was trying to push for being good, y'all, she take that candy and immediately she zones out just like that. She is climbing for the clouds. Do you hear me? So Sofia notices a woman walking in her direction, but she's unchained. Everybody else is chained up except for her. And so she was like, hey, hey, do you see her? She's walking this way. Why she ain't got no chains on? Hey, guards, she ain't got no chains on. What's happening? That lady ended up making a scene in front of everybody. And she confronts her for taking out all those women. And she beats the brakes off Sofia. So later on that day, Julian comes to talk to her, and she continues to speak of her innocence and how nobody believes her. And they then take her back to the cafeteria, where now the tables are turned. And the woman who beat her down is now chained up, while Sofia is given a fork, a sharp object, by the security guards, by the COs. Now, as they want this to happen on their watch, they're watching. The doctors come in. And so Sofia is walking closer and closer while this lady is talking cash money. She's trying to provoke Sofia. Finally, Sofia gets the message, like, this is what you want me to do. I'm not going to do it. So by the time she figured this out, the girl had got close enough to her to hit her, and Sofia ended up falling backwards. But the fork was still close enough for her to grab, right? So she grabs the fork, because at first she was like, end it, Sofia, end it. And I think she had like a speech impediment or something, because she repeated things 3 times after she would say it, right? So Sofia wouldn't do it for her. She grabs the fork, y'all, and we don't see it from a front. We see it from a back point of view. She jabs that fork into her neck several times in front of Sofia. You talk about traumatic. Oh, baby. Whew. So after she sees this gruesome self-annihilation, we then see several times where they were taking Sofia to receive electroshock therapy because she's still proclaiming her innocence, right? Nobody believes her. And the last time this happens, Julian asked Dr. Ventress, what if she's actually telling the truth? And he simply says to him, hey, you better watch yourself. In her cell, Sofia she's mentally coming apart. She's mentally unraveling, y'all, because now she's starting to notice that the walls are peeling. And so as she's peeling the walls, because the walls really ain't peeling, she's slowly peeling these walls and she's tearing it away, and it almost resembles her father's office. And then she sees her mother's body. So she tries to go over and touch it, right? But when she reaches her hand out, y'all, the other hand reaches for her. And when she looks up, we see it's her struggling to get out of the news. We realize that she's having these very realistic hallucinations where she is now scratching herself. So this is something that started in the hospital and is still continuing because she was doing it after Alberto died. So Alberto comes to visit, where he delivers the devastating news to her that she's not going to trial. There's not going to be a trial because the head Dr. Ventress wrote up a report that she was incompetent to stand trial, and the judge signed off on it. So there's not going to be a trial until she's able to stand, until she's deemed competent to stand trial. But even then, hell, she might get a for real deal sentence. She may not even be able to get to walk free for something that she didn't do. So as he's telling her there's not going to be a trial, he's convincing her, or he's trying to convince her that he's going to keep fighting for her to get released. Y'all, after she heard that it wasn't going to be a trial, she was like, so I'm just in here. She goes numb. Because what else can she do? And so she goes to trial, y'all, where Julian tells her that he was unaware that Ventress was writing their report about her. And then Magpie just keep on running her damn mouth, getting on Sofia's nerves. She's saying how she can now receive the candy since she's going to be in there for the foreseeable future. And Sofia feels that Magpie was sent to spy on her by Ventress. Of course, Magpie denies this, but she keeps talking and talking and talking. And then she starts talking about how their birthdays is lining up. And y'all, Sofia done heard enough, okay? She ends up grabbing Magpie's head and starts to bang it on the table until one side of her face is just bloodied. Almost unrecognizable. And so, of course, here comes Ventress, and he's just looking at her. She's like, I told you I was effing innocent. Whew. So as she stands up, y'all, she immediately gets trained. And when she goes out, we wake up in the present where she's now at Julian's house. He was able to find her and bring her to safety. And he says that the least he could do, since she had to endure so much at Arkham, was come to her rescue. Okay. He talks about how he finally left because he knew what they were doing was wrong, but she sees it as him abandoning her. You left me there by myself. You knew that I was innocent, and yet you didn't fight for me. The only person who never left her side was Alberto. And so she ends up asking him, what does it feel like to watch somebody unravel and run away and hide because you felt guilty? How does it feel? And so she admits that he may be right when he says that she needs a fresh start, but she does point out how he used to look at her. And I'm glad she noticed it, because I damn sure noticed it a while ago. So she gets real up close on him, and she says, for years, man after man after man used to tell me that I was sick. But she's come to realize it's not her, nor him the sick, it's the world. So later on at dinner, she joins the family where everyone seems to be having a great time. That is, until she walks in, and then it gets real quiet. It gets quiet like somebody mama is walking into the classroom after they kid done been called acting up, and they've been called to come in and observe. It's that quiet. So as Uncle Luca starts to give a speech about how the family has always been able to persevere through the worst circumstances, she interrupts him with a speech of her own. And she don't like doing speeches, but she believes that it's time for one. And so, of course, Johnny is like, what the hell are you doing, Sophia? And she was like, boy, if you don't shut your mouth right now, a grown woman is talking. She didn't say that, y'all, but that's the look that she gave him. So she brings up how it's funny how the last time they were all together was the night of her father's birthday party. Oh, that was such a great time. Y'all remember that? I sure do. And now look at us. We all here again because of Alberto's death. And so she speaks to how she went to prison for a whole decade for a crime that she was innocent of, while, ironically, everybody else sitting at this table is guilty of many crimes. One being signing off on sending me to that hellhole where I had to become a monster to survive. All because my daddy told y'all to. Nobody says anything. Couple of pulling at the collars. It's getting real hot up under there. So she then says the names of all the victims, because oftentimes their stories and their names are hardly ever spoken. So thank you for honoring them, Sofia. She says that she's going to be leaving soon to get that fresh start that Johnny Vita said that she deserved. And she's sure the family will love that too. To new beginnings. Cent'anni. So later on, we see her smoking in somebody's room. Now, I thought that it was hers, but she left the window cracked, right? And so then we then see her go grab Gia, because Gia got sent to bed early because the conversation was shifting at the dinner table that wasn't appropriate for her to hear. And so she was like, but I thought y'all was doing cake. I want some cake. So she done went to go grab Gia to get this big old piece of cake. Okay? So her and Gia, they take the cake, they go to the greenhouse and they eat it, where she says her and her brother used to sleep out there and pretend that they were sleeping in the jungle. That seems like a pretty cool thing to do when you're a kid. She then suggests that, hey, maybe we should do the same thing tonight. And so they do. The next morning, when they wake up, she tells Gia to go back to sleep for a second. She's going to go check on something. So, y'all, when she go back in the house, she walk in the house with a gas mask because everybody dead. It's bodies on bodies on bodies everywhere. She done gassed the whole house. I love it. I love it. I knew that's what she was going to do as soon as she crept down to that greenhouse. Thank you for sparing Gia, Sofia. So she done gassed the whole house. Everybody dead except for Johnny. Now, when she go into his room, she got her strap with her. She tapped him at the foot of the bed and was like, hey, we need to talk. And that's the way the episode ends. Like I said, I loved her origin story. Can we please get some more of what was happening while she was in prison? I want to know the truth behind what happened to her daddy, if that's really what happened. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about it, okay? You can reach me at Me and You TV Reviews on Facebook and on Instagram. You can also reach me at My TV Reviews Podcast without the S on the end at gmail.com. What is she going to do to Oz? I hope that Vic don't get caught in the middle of that, whatever happens. But y'all let me know, okay? You can reach me at Me and You TV Reviews on Facebook and on Instagram. You can also reach me at My TV Reviews Podcast without the S on the end at gmail.com. I love y'all, okay? You guys be safe out there. Enjoy your weekend. We got a couple more shows to roll out, okay? So that's all I have for now. So until we meet over the airwaves again, I am Mo, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.